Ladies and gentlemen, life is not a simple game of fairness. You will be betrayed. You will be deceived. There will be moments when people you trusted turn against you, not because you did something wrong, but because they couldn't handle your strength, your ambition, or even your existence. When this happens, you have two choices: to be consumed by the bitterness of betrayal or to rise above it. Most people allow themselves to become victims, letting the pain define them. But the truth is, suffering is a tool. If used correctly, it refines you, sharpens you, and forges you into something indestructible. You see, people who seek to harm others do so out of their own weakness. They believe that by dragging someone down, they can elevate themselves. But the reality is quite different, because destruction always leads to self-destruction. The knife they use to stab you with will not remain in your back forever. No, it will turn against them. For the laws of reality dictate that deceit, envy, and malice always collapse under their own weight. The best revenge is not retaliation. It is transformation. It is to take that pain, that betrayal, and use it as a forge to make yourself untouchable. Let them watch as you rise, stronger, wiser, and more disciplined. Let them see that their attempt to break you, because in the end, the people who operate through manipulation and betrayal always fall. They create enemies where there were none. They lose trust where it was once freely given. They isolate themselves until there is nothing left but their own destruction. So, if you have been wronged, if you have been betrayed, do not despair. Stand firm, keep building, keep striving, and let time reveal the truth. Because the knife they stabbed you with will, inevitably, be their own demise. Resilience transforms betrayal into strength. Betrayal is a test, a brutal but necessary encounter that reveals both the true nature of others and the strength hidden within you. When someone turns against you, whether a friend, a colleague, or even a family member, it is easy to feel as if the world is crumbling beneath your feet. The emotional turmoil that follows is overwhelming: anger, sadness, confusion. The weight of that knife in your back is real. But here's the truth: what they intend to be your downfall can become your greatest source of power. Resilience is not just about enduring pain. It is about using pain as a catalyst for transformation. Weak individuals break under betrayal, but the strong recognize it as an opportunity. Every great figure in history, every leader, every revolutionary has faced betrayal in some form, and yet they rose above it. Not by wallowing in self-pity, but by understanding that betrayal is a reflection of the betrayer, not the betrayed. Think about it. The person who stabs you in the back does so because they see something in you that they cannot control, something they fear or resent. It might be your success, your integrity, your potential. Their attack is not a demonstration of their power, but of their weakness. They lack the courage to stand beside you, so they try to bring you down. But here's where resilience changes everything. Instead of collapsing under the weight of their betrayal, you stand up. You take that wound and let it teach you. You let it build your discipline, sharpen your mind, and fortify your spirit. The betrayal becomes a lesson, and in mastering it, you become someone they can no longer touch. There is an old saying, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." But that is only true if you choose to learn from the pain rather than be consumed by it. Resilience is a choice. It is the decision to rise, to rebuild, to stand taller than before. When you do this, something remarkable happens. The knife they used against you becomes meaningless. It no longer holds power over you. Instead, it becomes part of your story, a testament to your strength. And here's the most important part: in their attempt to destroy you, they reveal themselves. They expose their own insecurities, their own moral failures. They think they are the architects of your downfall, but in reality, they are digging their own grave. Because those who live by betrayal, deceit, and manipulation always meet the consequences of their actions. The foundation of their own life begins to crumble, while you, the one they tried to break, stand stronger than ever. So, the next time someone betrays you, do not let it shatter you, let it forge you. Because the greatest revenge is not vengeance, it is success, resilience, and an unshakable will. The truth always surfaces. Deception is a temporary mask. Lies can hide reality for a time, but they cannot rewrite the fundamental laws of existence. When someone betrays you, whether through dishonesty, manipulation, or outright treachery, they are making a gamble. They believe that their actions will remain hidden, that the narrative they spin will protect them, and that they can escape the consequences. But this is an illusion, because the truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds its way to the surface. History is filled with examples of individuals who built their lives on lies, only to watch everything collapse when the weight of reality became too much to bear. Corrupt leaders, deceptive colleagues, false friends, each of them thought they could control perception indefinitely, and yet time proved them wrong. Truth is not fragile. It does not require force to sustain it. Lies, on the other hand, demand constant maintenance, constant manipulation, and a relentless effort to keep them afloat. And here's the key: the person who betrays you is always playing a losing game. At first, they may seem to succeed. They may convince others of their falsehoods, gaining sympathy, power, or status at your expense. They may make you look like the villain while they portray themselves as the victim, but this advantage is fleeting. Because deception breeds instability. It creates cracks in their foundation, and the longer they attempt to uphold their lie, the more fragile their position becomes. Why? Because truth has a way of emerging in the smallest details. It seeps through inconsistencies in their stories. It lingers in the way they avoid eye contact, in the way they shift blame, in the way they become defensive when questioned. People may not see it immediately, but they begin to notice. Slowly but surely, the false reality they created starts to unravel. And when it does, the consequences are far worse than if they had been honest from the beginning. The betrayal itself is damaging, but what destroys them in the end is the loss of trust. Trust once broken is almost impossible to restore. Those who believed them, who supported them, who stood by them, eventually they begin to see the cracks. And when that moment comes, the betrayer finds themselves alone, facing the ruins of the illusion they built. So if you have been betrayed, if someone has lied about you, manipulated others against you, or tried to erase the truth, be patient. Let time do its work. Do not waste your energy chasing justice in the moment, because justice is already in motion. Truth is like a seed buried in the earth. You may not see it immediately, but it is growing. And when it finally breaks through the surface, it will be undeniable. The knife they used to stab you was meant to silence the truth, but in the end, that very knife will turn against them. For nothing can outrun reality. Forever. Your response determines your destiny. Betrayal is not just about what was done to you, it is about what you choose to do in response. In life, you do not always control the events that unfold, but you always control how you react to them. This is where your true power lies. When someone stabs you in the back, your immediate instinct might be to retaliate, to prove them wrong, to fight fire with fire. But here's the harsh truth. If you allow yourself to be consumed by vengeance, you have already lost. because in that moment, you are no longer in control. They are. They dictated your pain, and now they dictate your actions. They turned you into a reflection of their own weakness. But there is another way, a better way, and it begins with mastering yourself. Instead of reacting with rage, channel that energy into something greater. Use the pain to build discipline, to fuel your ambitions, to sharpen your mind. The most dangerous person is not the one who lashes out in anger, but the one who remains calm, focused, and relentless in their pursuit of excellence. The world is filled with people who let betrayal break them. They become bitter, cynical, and distrustful of everyone around them. But do you want to know the real tragedy? When you allow betrayal to turn you into someone you are not, the betrayer has already won. They wanted to see you fall, and you handed them that victory on a silver platter. Instead, let their actions serve as fuel. Let them teach you, let them show you the truth about who you can trust, who you should walk away from, and what kind of person you refuse to become. Because the person who overcomes betrayal does not just survive, they thrive. They emerge from the storm stronger, wiser, and untouchable. And this is where destiny is decided, not in the betrayal itself, but in how you choose to rise from it. Do you let it drag you down, or do you use it as momentum to rise even higher? This is why your response is everything. The world is watching. Your future self is watching. And the person who betrayed you, they are watching too. When they see that their knife did not break you, that it only made you more resilient, that you became something they could never destroy, then they will know. They will know that they lost long before they even began. Because in the end, it is never the betrayal that defines your life. It is what you do next. The consequence of corruption is self-destruction. Every action a person takes shapes their future, whether they realize it or not. Betrayal, deception, and malice may seem like effective tools in the short term, but they are a ticking time bomb. The person who wields them believes they are securing their own advantage, but what they fail to understand is that the cost of corruption is inevitable. It always leads to self-destruction. Think about it. When someone betrays another, what are they really doing? They are proving that their word is meaningless. They are demonstrating that their loyalty is conditional. They are showing the world that they will step on others for their own gain. And while they may get away with it temporarily, they are unknowingly setting the stage for their own downfall. Because deception does not exist in isolation, it spreads. A person who betrays once will betray again. A person who lies once will have to lie a second time to cover up the first. And slowly the web they have spun entangles them. They lose credibility. They lose trust. And in the process, they lose everything that actually matters. History is filled with stories of people who believed they could cheat their way to success. Politicians who built their careers on lies, only to be exposed and disgraced. Leaders who climbed to power through treachery, only to be overthrown by the very people they deceived. Friends who backstabbed those who supported them, only to find themselves alone when they needed help the most. The pattern is always the same. Corruption erodes its own foundation. And this is where their own weapon turns against them. The knife they use to harm others does not simply vanish. It remains in play. The betrayals they committed create a trail, one that leads directly back to them. Because here's the truth, people remember. They remember who stood by them, and they remember who turned against them. So when the betrayer reaches their moment of need, when they look around for allies, they find none. Their past catches up with them, and by then it is too late. Their greatest downfall was never the person they betrayed, it was themselves. This is why integrity matters. This is why those who choose honesty, discipline, and loyalty always win in the end. Not because the world is fair, but because deception is an unstable foundation, and no one who builds upon it stands for long. So if someone has betrayed you, do not waste your time seeking revenge. You do not need to destroy them. They are already on that path. The only thing you need to do is rise above, keep building, and watch as time delivers the justice they thought they had escaped. Strength comes from mastery over emotion. The person who controls their emotions controls their destiny. When you are betrayed, the immediate instinct is to react, to lash out, to seek revenge, to let anger dictate your next move. But raw emotion, if left unchecked, is a weapon that can be turned against you. Those who betray you want you to lose control, because the moment you do, they have already won. Think about it. Why does betrayal hurt so much? Because it is unexpected. Because it comes from someone you once trusted. It shakes your understanding of the world and forces you to question your own judgment. And that emotional chaos, that is exactly what the betrayer counts on. They want to see you broken. They want to see you consumed by anger and bitterness, because that reaction validates their actions. It means they still have power over you. But what if they didn't? What if instead of reacting, you remained composed? What if you took that pain and turned it into something productive, something that benefits you rather than destroys you? True strength is not found in rage, it is found in discipline. The strongest individuals are not those who shout the loudest or retaliate the fastest, but those who master themselves. When you control your response, you take away the betrayer's victory. They expected you to crumble, but instead you remain focused. They expected you to fall, but instead you build. They expected to see you drowning in bitterness, but instead they watch as you rise beyond their reach. Because here is the truth. Emotions are powerful, but they must serve you, not control you. If anger drives you, let it drive you towards success, not destruction. If pain fuels you, let it fuel your growth, not your downfall. When you master your emotions, you become untouchable. Not because you are numb, but because you refuse to let temporary feelings dictate permanent decisions. And the most poetic part? The one who betrayed you will come to regret it. Not because you sought revenge, but because they will see what they lost. They will watch as the person they tried to break becomes stronger than they ever imagined. And when that moment comes, the knife they used against you will have already turned in their hands. So stand firm, control yourself, let your silence be more powerful than their words. Let your progress be more devastating than their betrayal, because in the end, the one who masters their emotions masters their fate.